Hey guys, Andy here from the Brickies Network again. Since my last video, I've had a few messages come back to me about how do I add value to my business? And my first response to it is reliability. Reliability is the most valuable thing you can provide as a brickie. So to break it down, we actually need to look at what is reliability. And reliability, the definition of it is trustworthiness of being consistent, of doing something well. And so we've got to do it consistently. So, but then if you're going to be reliable, you have to understand exactly what it is. So if we break it down into a few different things, one, we need to provide quality. And quality is different for everyone else because quality is really just a term to use for measuring something, measuring your own standard. So, and of course, everyone's is different. So, but it's got to be quality and it's got to be consistent. So then to make up that, you have to be, there's a few different parts of it. There's quality, there's appearance, there's punctuality, there's cleanliness and communication, and you've got to do it all consistently to get the title of being reliable. So let's put a couple of examples into that. So if we're going quality, well, we set a standard of our own practice and we do it consistently. So if you're a business owner, you need to set exactly what standard you deliver and do it every time of that exact same standard that you're doing. But if you're an employee, you have to come to work with the attitude of, I only do this work and I do that all the time because that's my standard. And there could be variations between employer and employee on what their quality standard is, but they need to align. You know? And then we work on appearance. Appearance is so important. If you're a business owner, your clients notice all the little details about your appearance. If you're rocking up in an untidy truck, half your gear's hanging off the back, you know, everything looks messy, then, and you get out of the truck and you're wearing tracksuit pants and you don't have a decent t-shirt on, well, it doesn't look professional. So appearance is really important. And if you're an employee, your appearance is imperative for your boss to see a good appearance because he sees that as your attitude that you're bringing towards the job. So like we've all worked with someone that rocks up to work, bit of a torn pair of shorts, an old AC/DC t-shirt with sweat holes in the back of it. The appearance doesn't look great and it doesn't look professional, and it just goes to show that people can make an assumption on that's the attitude and that's what I'm going to get with the work that he's providing for me. So that the appearance is a big one, but then punctuality, that is absolutely imperative if you want to be reliable. So if you say you're going to be somewhere, you got to turn up on the time you say you're going to be there. If you're a bricklayer and you've made an appointment with the builder or a client to meet them on site, or you said that you're going to start on a particular day, you have to turn up when you say you're going to do it, because that punctuality, because those guys, the supervisor or the builder or the client, they've taken time out of their day to meet you. You don't turn up, it leaves a bad impression. But then if you're an employee and you're not reliable in your punctuality, well then he can't rely on you. You've got to, if it's the old saying, if you're on time, you're 10 minutes late. That it really is. If start time's at 6:30, then we turn up at 5:45, ready to work at 6:30. It's absolutely imperative that you have punctuality and turn up when you're going to say you turn up. And then you roll on to cleanliness. Cleanliness is amazing for adding value in part of your reliability, because if you're a bricklaying business owner, and you keep everything super, super clean and tidy, it shows the builder or the client, they see that and they go, this guy's taking pride in his work. It's not only a safety issue to not have your site clean, but when does the client turn up on the job to have a look at the job? They generally turn up after hours when you're not there. If you're building a home for someone or you're working for a builder and they're building for a client, those clients turn up after hours because they're building a home and that's the way they feel about it before they even get there. So if they turn up and the job's messy, there's still mud tipped off boards, there's broken bricks everywhere, and it's just scrappy, they walk in and they get a bad impression, not only of the builder, but they get a bad impression of the tradesman who's doing the job. So if we just keep things clean and tidy, there's nothing better than a client walking into a job after work and going, geez, look how presentable this is. And even then, if there are some little areas with your work that aren't quite up to scratch, they don't see that because they're not starting to look for things, right? But then if we go to the other side of it and you're an employee bricklayer, your boss needs you to turn up to work clean and tidy, well presented, wearing clean clothes. No one wants to see the guy turning up in the pair of shorts and the t-shirt that he's worn for 3 days in a row with a bit of colour smeared down the front of it and dusty and dirty and all the rest of it. And we've all worked with someone that's rocked up like that and they're a bit on the nose. Like they don't smell right. And it's just not fair on your work colleagues as well. And your boss wants to see you turn up to the job presenting like you're a representative of his company, because that's what you are when you're an employee. So you need to take pride in your cleanliness as well, because that's so important to the overall side of it. And then we'll get to communication. Communication, I can't say enough about communication. It's communication, communication, communication in every respect. When you're running a bricklaying business, you need to communicate with your client about absolutely everything. And if your client needs to come and talk to you, whether it be the builder or a private client, they need to know that they can get a hold of you. They don't want to be ringing you and you don't answer the phone and then you never call back. That just, it grinds their gears. They want to know that you're contactable if there's another issue. And if something arises on the job, they want to know that you as the brickie on the job are going to give them a call. You go, hey, we've got this bit of a problem, how do you reckon we should deal with it? And it can help them forward plan on those things as well. So those are absolutely imperative when you're working for yourself. But if you're an employee, you've got to communicate with your boss as well. If you're going to be late and you know about it, don't just rock up late. Call the boss and say, hey, I've had a hold up. I'm just letting you know I'm going to be 20 minutes late. Or if you know that you can't work the next Tuesday for some reason, then you need to communicate that with the boss. And if there's something going on the job, you've got to communicate it with him. Like if an accident happens on the job and you saw that there was an issue 2 days beforehand, but you didn't talk to the boss about it, and then someone ended up tripping over something or rolling their ankle because there was an injury there and you didn't communicate it, that doesn't help the employer. The employer needs to know what's going on. Unbelievable, So, and then the key part of all of that to make you reliable is you've got to do all of those things consistently to earn the title of reliable. So if we do all of those things every day, then over time we get that title of reliability, and then that reliability is an asset, and that is extra value for everyone in those scenarios. You being reliable is a valuable asset to your clients, and you can sell that reliability because if you can guarantee that when you're working for a builder and you say, I'm going to turn up on Monday, it's a 3-week job and we'll be finished 3 weeks later on the Friday, and that happens, then the builder can go, I can forward plan for that. I can ensure and I can be confident as the builder that I can claim my lockup payment on that date. But if you're unreliable as the bricklayer, and then you don't turn up on the Tuesday because we just didn't feel like it this morning. It was a bit hot, and a couple of the staff didn't turn up, so we just couldn't quite get as much done on that day. And then wet days or really hot days, fine. Clients are understanding that there is those types of things that hold up progress. But if it's just like, it was raining for half an hour in the morning, but we took the whole day off, that doesn't give you the title of being reliable, and then you can't sell that as value to the client. Because if all of those things go together and the builder doesn't have any holdups, then you're a valuable asset that he will pay more for. And I'm going to throw it again back to an employee. If an employee is reliable and he turns up every day clean and tidy, like clean and tidy, well presented, good set of tools, all of those different things, then he is a valuable asset to the boss, and the boss is going to look after you better. He's going to be prepared to, if you come to him and say, hey, I feel like I'm doing a great job for you and I've been providing all this value for you, then they're going to be more responsive to you coming up going, I'd like a pay rise, or this is happening, or I'd like to have a couple of weeks off over there because that's when my family's going away on holidays, all that sort of stuff. You're a valuable asset and your boss is going to treat you that way. But if you're on the other side where you're like, I just didn't turn up on Monday because I'd had a big night with the fellas on Sunday afternoon, or I just couldn't be bothered that day, or oh no, it's too far to travel at the moment. It's too far to travel to that job, so I don't want to travel that far, so I'm not going to turn up. That doesn't make you an asset to your boss, because your boss can't hit his targets to his employers and his builders, and it forces his schedule out. And you might not be getting paid for those days that you're not there, but there's on effects for your boss because you don't turn up. He might have 3 labourers and 5 brickies, but then suddenly if a brickie doesn't turn up, well then he's got 3 labourers and 4 brickies and he's not getting value out of his labourers for that job. So you have value being reliable as an employee. So I think about it that we all feel like we're reliable. We sit there and go, yeah, I'm a reliable person. But the only way to know that is if you actually measure it and look at yourself in the mirror and be honest with yourself. Am I reliable? Take a 4-week block in the middle of summer. We don't have any rain days. Everything goes really well. Everything's lined up on site. Can you say to yourself, yep, I turned up at work on time every day without fail, I'm reliable? Or was there a day where, sorry boss, I was late, I had to put fuel in my car because I wasn't organised? Well, that doesn't mean that you're not reliable. Or if you're the business owner and you've had all of those things, but yet you've told the builder it's going to take me 3 weeks to finish that job, but then suddenly something came up, you won another job and you went, oh shit, we'll just flick the boys over to that job for a couple of days and keep that builder happy, and then we'll come back to this one. Well, that doesn't make you reliable for that client. So, but the only way that we can measure that is if we look at ourselves in the mirror and be honest with ourselves, and then measure it, make some improvements if we need to, because the reliability is the most valuable asset that you can have for you and your business. If you found the information today helpful, click the subscribe button, click the little bell. I don't advertise on this channel. All I'm doing is just putting out information to you guys. If you feel it's valuable, that's all I ask. And if there's something there that you think someone else could get some value out of, please share it with your friends. Share it with other brickies that you know. It just helps get the word out, and hopefully we can raise the standard of bricklaying across the board and raise prices everywhere across the board as well. Cheers, guys.